So wild orange is an oil that is going to be stimulating the production of endorphins in your brain, and that just makes you feel happy, makes you feel relaxed. When people inhale wild orange, they have to think of things like, oh, holiday in Spain, an afternoon with my grandma. Directly, the brain goes back to the memories of joy, happiness, and relaxation. And when you inhale wild orange, you're basically teaching your brain to go to these neural pathways of joy, happiness, and relaxation over and over again. You do it often enough, it becomes kind of like a traveled road. So when life happens, instead of you being triggered and going into the familiar anger, resentment, sadness, you can go into the familiar relaxation, support, and joy. Even when you're struggling, there is a way to have such a strong neural pathway in your brain anchored in relaxation and in happiness that it doesn't matter what it happens in your surroundings, the inner response, the chemical response, it's still a joyful and relaxed one. That's not rocket science, it's not complicated, but it's a skill that needs to be trained when you practice over and over again. And you can do this practice by using wild orange and balance, which activate these neural pathways. Wild orange is also known to be the oil of abundance. It is the cheapest essential oil. It's the easiest one to get. Like, you have oranges in abundance to take it away from. And what I love about it is this message that abundance is there for us to tap into. Nature is abundant, life is abundant, and wild orange helps us remind us that abundance is simple. When our minds get out of the way, when our resistance get out of the way, when we stop thinking that life is complicated, that life is challenging, when we choose to focus our attention not on the challenges, but on the ease, on the possibility. And that's why wild orange is so simple, but it can do so much to you. It was one of the essential oils that I used when I was in a burnout, and it reminds you to play. It reminds you to play. You can come to this earth and you have a choice of seeing it as a hurdle, as a challenge, as something to be overcome, as a puzzle that you need to figure it out. That's a choice. Or you can come to this earth and choose to see it as a game. Choose to see it as a game where you are a character, everybody else is a character, and you're playing. And it doesn't have to be also serious. It doesn't have to be also heavy. You're just going to play around, try different responses, try different approaches, and try different inner chemistries to experience life. And in this choice, the essential oils can help you. Because one thing is your thoughts sending a signal to your body, and that's very strong. And another thing is when you couple that with a chemical response that it's going to automatically happen. It doesn't matter the thoughts that you have. If you have a lot of more hardship thoughts, yes, the oils are not going to be as potent because you have two counter energies balancing each other. But when you have a possibility thought and you have the essential oils, they multiply. The wave of hormones gets bigger because you have now two signals sending the same direction. Life is easy. I can deal with this. It's all a game. Let's play. It doesn't have to be too hard. It doesn't have to be so serious. And guess what? It's not. The moment you start doing this practice, the moment you really commit to using the oils, that you really commit to being the guard of your mind, to not let the thoughts slip that are going to put you in that space of victimhood, of resentment. The moment you say, wait a second, these oils are going to change the state of my body right now, is the moment your life starts to change because you start to change. Yes, it takes commitment, it takes consistency. So it's not like you're gonna smell balance once and then, okay, done, the job is done, I feel grounded. No, it's not like that. The moment you decide to change your inner chemistry from resentment and overwhelm, and you say, I choose to stay grounded in a place of ease and joy and fun, is the moment your mind wages a war against you. Because your mind is so familiarized with the overwhelm. Your mind is so familiarized with the resentment, and you want to stay there. It wants to stay in the old. It doesn't know this new neural pathway that wild orange is triggering. It's not familiar with the sense of groundedness that balance is bringing. It doesn't want to go there because it's not used to it. So your mind is going to wage this war to stay in that place of resentment. And with these oils, with the potency of nature, you're going to anchor over and over again, and you're going to say, I choose another chemical state in my body. I choose another experience in life. And I'm going to anchor again, and I'm going to anchor again. And maybe it's going to be 3 times in the day. Maybe it's going to be 10. Maybe it's going to be 100. Maybe it's going to be 100 moments that you're going to open. You're going to say, I make another choice. I choose to feel abundant. I choose to feel at ease. I choose to see the game. I choose to play it. Anchor it. Anchor it. Teach it again. Feel the emotion. You have to think about Spain. Let the emotion from Spain come up. You have to think about afternoons with your grandma where you were, smelling oranges. Let the emotion come up. Let the feeling come up. Let the chemistry that it's being sent to your brain go into every cell of your body and recode. Recode it as often as you need. Because the more you recode, the more it becomes your current new reality. The more you're going to say, I choose to stay in a place of calm, the more your body is going to recognize like, okay, we're not going to resentment, we're going into calm. And then your body's going to go like, again, another trigger, resentment, goes automatic, you don't have a choice. 95% of your responses are automatic, they are unconscious. But you know what you do have? You have a choice to stay in it or to go another direction. There you have a choice. That's where the 95% can be taken over by the 5% of consciousness and say, wait, I want to anchor calm. Calm. Send the signal to the brain. Tell the brain to release endorphins and not to release cortisol. Teach your body that it's safe to live in a place of oxytocin and cortisol and endorphins. Teach your body that you no longer need the cortisol to be running the system. The oils are teaching it, your thoughts are teaching it, your emotions are teaching it. We're working together with nature to create this new elevated human form with a regulated nervous system. And now this month, you have the opportunity of getting 4 products that are going to support you with that. Do you need them all? Yes, you need them all, because each of them have a different code. You see, it's kind of like, do you need to eat broccoli and fish and avocado? Yes, because they are different chemistries. And your body needs the different chemistries to be complete. And it's the same thing with plant medicine. When you use them together, they complement each other. It's a very big expectation to say, I'm going to get a wild orange only, and I'm going to use it 1 or 2 times, and then it doesn't work. I still feel resentful. I still feel anger. I still feel fear. Yeah, you're just not as good yet in feeling relaxed. So practice more with love and kindness to your body. Send the message again. Again, I'll open my balance bottle. Again, I'm going to anchor until it becomes my new identity. Until it's so normal to me that I don't need it anymore. And I'm going to share something here with you. I've been in this business now for 6 years. I've helped a lot of people. I'm so grateful for it. 3 months. 3 months working on an intention. 6 months if you're coming from a burnout, if you're really bad. 3 to 6 months. Every single day. 3 times a day. You can do 100 if the situation is chaotic, but 3 times. It's that simple. 3 times a day, you anchor on the intention of the state of mind that you want to feel, and your brain starts to recode, and you start to send a different signal, and you start to feel how it is to not live in that high stress cortisol mode, but to live from a space of endorphins, of oxytocins. And then when you forget it about it, the oils are there. Your intention is there. You bind them both again. Your intention, your thought, your emotions, the oils, sending the signal for the chemistry to happen in your body. You bundle them and you anchor again. And then you make the choice. And you build up on small steps. It's not overnight. On small steps, you build up the transformation in your body. And there's one day that you wake up and you're like, I feel grounded. I'm changed. I feel relaxed. I'm changed. And then it's the day that maybe you're not going to need the oils anymore. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. You're not going to be dependent on them. And then you know what? Life happens. And you know what you do when life happens? You grab your pharmacy again. You go and you get your Copaiba and you say, life happened. I feel the cortisol raising. I feel the familiar emotions of fear. And again, I make a choice. You send the chemical into your body again. 1 drop of Copaiba does the work for me now. I don't need 10 nowadays. Not because I'm perfect. at all, at all. But because my body's familiarized with going from fear into possibility. My body's more familiarized into going into from anger into love. It doesn't mean that I don't go into anger. I go every single day. My kids can tell. But I can shift. I can shift back into love. I can come without shame and tell them, I'm sorry, that wasn't nice. Shall we start over again? And the moment that I release the shame, I release the attachment, I release the resentment. I've been doing this work with essential oils now for 6 years. And I can tell you those chemical compounds have opened doors that I wouldn't be able to open myself consciously. Because when they get into your body, they go into places that they need to be.